Aloha everyone, this is Bridget. I'm from the Philippines, majoring in biomedical sciences, and right now I'm going to present my disease presentation, which is all about rabies. So before I do that, I myself was bitten by a dog and had myself injected with a series of anti-rabies shot. So while I'm telling the story, enjoy this video of Cora, my cousin's dog, who we were trying to play. So when I was 15, I was visiting my classmate who just lives right in front of our house. I was in their terrace when two dogs started barking. One was outside and it's a street dog, but he was on his leash, and the other one is inside. And she was a Japanese Spitz dog, which keeps barking and pushing their door. So I held the screen door so that the Japanese Spitz dog would not go out. I was waiting for so long, and so I tried to make I was making faces to the street dog because either way he would not stop barking. And then I just saw him shake his head up and down, side to side, and he was loose on his leash. I panicked and he started running towards me while I was still holding the screen door, and fortunately he bit my skirt, my uniform skirt. And the dumbest thing that I did was I opened the screen door, and having the Japanese Spitz dog jump over me, then over inside my skirt and bit my thigh. I was in shock that I couldn't move, and so after that, they washed my bite wound with soap and water immediately and went over to a clinic to get my anti-rabies shot. So that's my story. So right now, what is rabies? In my mission, our American mission nurse did a workshop about diseases that foreigners and locals get from the Philippines, and one of them was rabies. So we are taught that even a scratch from a dog, where rabies are usually get from in the Philippines, or when the scratch breaks the skin, we need to get an anti-rabies shot. And that is how serious rabies is. So rabies is fatal, meaning causing death, but it's a preventable viral disease. It can spread to people and pets if they are bitten or scratched by a rabid animal. In the United States, rabies is mostly found in wild animals like bats, raccoons, skunks, and foxes. However, in many other countries, like in the Philippines, dogs still carry rabies, and most rabies deaths in people around the world are caused by dog bites. So the first written record of rabies causing death in dogs and humans is found in the Mosaic Esmuna Code of Babylon in 2300 BC, where Babylonians had to pay a fine if their dog transmitted rabies to another person. So this rabies is caused by the Rabies virus, which is the type species of the genus Virus. The virion is bullet-shaped, 180 nanometer long and 75 nanometer wide, and it's a negative single-stranded RNA genome, and it encodes 5 structural proteins. So this virus causes human encephalitis, meaning inflammation of the brain, and through zoonotic infection that you can get from animals, predominantly of bats in the Americas and dogs in other countries. It is highly neurotropic virus, which is a virus that is capable of infecting nerve cells that spreads along neural pathways and invades the central nervous system. So here, and this is a dog, it's a dog who's like been bit the legs, And so this virus replicates in the muscle and travels to the peripheral nerves to the spinal cord, then is sent to the brain, which infects the brain and spread along the nerves to salivary glands, skin, cornea, and other organs. Since we talked about encephalitis, which is one of the effects of the rabies, this leads us to talk about the signs and symptoms of rabies in humans. So, what are the signs and symptoms? So, when I went to the clinic on that day, I got bit. I went there and it had an informative presentation on their TV about rabies and the effects of it when you ignore and neglect medical treatment after you got bitten by a dog or a rabid animal. I was 15. I paid attention and listened closely to that presentation. The effects were horrifying. The one word that I could describe those effects is as it was like being possessed by a devil. So, rabies virus is almost always fatal. Here are the signs and symptoms of rabies, which include fever, vomiting, fear of water, which hydrophobia, fear of light, fear of air, cerebral dysfunction, paralysis, seizures, weakness. And this picture on the right is an example of excessive salivation. So you can watch it on YouTube, which is scary, and the link provided, or just search it, the devastating effect of rabies. And so with all those horrifying stuff that rabies can put you, how can we fight rabies? Can our immune system fight it? So there's this video in YouTube that explains how our immune system reacts when the virus is present.
Now, at this point, you'd think your immune system would kick in, recognize this dangerous intruder, and destroy it. But your immune system doesn't see it. This is thought to be because the virus replicates slowly in the muscle tissue, slow enough not to cause any alarm. This gives it a chance to reach the nervous system, where it hitches a ride up to the brain and slips through the blood-brain barrier. It's behind this shield where the rabies virus can flourish, while still being able to hide from our immune system because the blood-brain barrier evolved to keep dangerous or harmful things out. But sometimes that includes immune cells.
In fact, if T cells do get past the blood-brain barrier, the rabies virus has evasion techniques where it actually kills the T cells that are coming in.
Alright. So now that our immune system cannot do anything with the virus, thankfully there is a vaccine which prevent and treat the virus. So the first real treatment for rabies came in 1880s. A French chemistry teacher named Louis Pasteur was dabbling with chicken cholera when he noticed that virulent cultures exposed to the elements no longer caused disease. He also noted that chickens given this weakened or attenuated strain of that disease were immune to inoculation with fresh virulent cultures. So Pasteur next tried an attenuated vaccine against anthrax in cattle, and it worked. He then turned his attention to rabies, the scourge of the world. So here in this picture, he gave 13 injections containing a weakened rabies virus to a boy, and because the boy was inoculated before symptoms appeared, the disease never developed and the boy survived. And now, more than 100 years, Pasteur's research not only saved countless lives but also paved the way for other modern-day immunizations. So, rabies vaccine, which is here, is an inactivated virus vaccine prepared in either the HDCV or the human diploid cell vaccine and the purified chick embryo cell vaccine, or PCEC. The World Health Organization recommended two main immunization strategies, namely pre-exposure prophylaxis and post-exposure prophylaxis, which means the prophylaxis meaning action taken to prevent diseases. So this is the pre-exposure prophylaxis. People who work with rabies in laboratory settings, animal control, and wildlife officers, they have to get 3 1 ml injections of either of those rabies vaccines. And this is the post-exposure prophylaxis for previously immunized individuals. So they have to get 2 doses of the vaccine. And the last one, I think I was in that part where the post-exposure prophylaxis for non-immunized individuals. So I have to get 4 doses of the rabies vaccine, and all the information is found in the link below. So yes, so these are the tips that we can prevent rabies, which is to vaccinate yourself, go to the nearest facility or clinic to get rabies anti-rabies shot or rabies vaccine, and vaccinate your pet. Do not provoke the animals like I did when you got bit. Seek treatment immediately, and to prevent it, remove stray animals from your neighborhood. And so that's how, and that's rabies is, and that's how we can prevent it. And these are the sources, and that's all that I can give to you. And thank you for watching. Mahalo.